Hi, welcome to AJTS. My name is Rami and I'm so happy to have you here. I wanted to start a series called Keys to Success, which focuses on conveying key concepts that are very applicable to our journeys in a general sense. And understanding these concepts allow us to be one step closer to achieving the goals that we have set for ourselves. And I wanted to start this off with a very graphic concept, one that most of us have experienced, or if not all of us have experienced, but unfortunately, some of us may have succumbed to it and have resulted in us giving up on our dreams. And that is failure. The experience of failure can sometimes lead someone to give up on a dream that they've been pursuing. However, how we perceive failure, which is the topic of this video, focuses on allowing us to understand how the perception of failure can take what emotions that may occur when a failure happens and change them into something that's extremely productive that allow us to maintain the momentum that we have in our journey and achieve the goals that we've set for ourselves. So what I wanted to discuss today is what is failure, what my position on failure is from the experiences that I've had, and then lay out some action items that I personally take in order to combat this, and maybe you can take as well in order to combat your experience with failure. And so let's start with the definition of failure. On Google, the definition of failure is just lack of success. And in reality, that makes sense, but it does not provide a visual understanding or an emotional tie to what an individual can feel when a failure occurs. And so I went and looked into different articles and searched for a better definition or a more applicable definition to what I was trying to understand. And I came across this article written by the EPFL, and they had a specific bullet point that stood out to me. And that is that failure demotivates someone, allows them to lose confidence in themselves, and then makes them question their own abilities. Now that's extremely vivid, and some of us have unfortunately succumbed to that definition, and I at times felt that way as well. And if we let that overcome us, we've essentially blocked our ability to achieve the goals that we've set for ourselves. And so I wanted to embark on an understanding of the failures that I've experienced and how my perception of failure has been shaped and how I've been able to move forward and continue to work towards the goals that I've set for myself. And so what is my perception of failure? Well, as someone who's failed in the past, I have felt the emotions that the EPFL stated before. Like, for example, when I missed a key penalty shot in a decisive game that cost us the tournament, I felt like soccer wasn't the right sport for me. But instead, because I perceived my failure differently, I'm now able to enjoy competitive level of play and high performance with the team that I play with. Another example is when I went to university to get a degree in aerospace engineering, and my freshman year resulted in me getting a 1.98 GPA. Yeah, that's right, a 1.98 GPA. That is a really, really, really low grade. I felt at that time that I was doomed to get a job in the aerospace field because of that grade. However, by approaching the failure in a certain mindset and understanding what I was experiencing, I was able to reshape and replan how I approached university and graduated with a 3.55 GPA in my major, with a minor in astronomy, and now I work for a premier avionics company, working on some of the coolest things that I've ever seen in my entire life. And so perception of failure is and can be the line between giving up on your dreams and attaining the success that you've been wanting. And so how do we approach this perception of failure? And how do we begin to put ourselves on the track to not give in to failure, to maintain the momentum that we've built up and achieve the goals that we've set for ourselves? Well, I've laid down 4 specific steps that I believe will help anyone get past the failure that's in front of them. And the first one is the hardest and the most important one. As we all know, every journey starts with a single step. That's why I placed admission of failure as the top step that needs to be taken. And the reason is that when you admit to yourself that you have failed, it allows you to begin to internalize the emotions that you are feeling, understand that failure is part of the process, and that it isn't the end of what you're feeling. Like, for example, when I saw the 1.98 GPA on paper, I felt shocked. I felt like I was not going to do well in university. However, I spent the summer understanding and accepting that, hey, there are things that happened that resulted in you failing, so understand that you did fail that freshman year. And by accepting and admitting that I failed, it allowed me to move on to the next step, which is to be able to reflect on that failure. What did I do that caused me to get a 1.98 GPA? What steps did I take, or what steps did I not take that could have ensured a higher degree or a higher grade? And so by reflecting, I was able to understand that I prioritized certain things over my studies that resulted in me being not as diligent during the exams, during my assignments, and therefore earned the grade that I got. And so by reflecting, I was able to understand where the holes were in my approach my freshman year, and then allowed me to investigate various solutions on how I can improve myself and how I can reapproach my college career in order to attain the success I was looking for. So for example, I realized that I did not participate in projects that challenged me to use the concepts that I'm learning in class. So a step that I took is when I come back sophomore year, is look to engage in engineering projects that challenged me. And so that allowed me to go on to my next step, which is to go and execute it. So come first semester of my sophomore year, I began looking for projects. I began executing on the plan that I've set for myself based on the solutions I investigated, and was able to achieve a 3.55 GPA, as I mentioned. To wrap all this up, I would like to go back and summarize everything. With our understanding of what failure is and how the perception of failure can impact our journey, and laying out a set of steps that one can take in order to combat that failure, I believe that we're all one step closer to achieving the goals we've set for ourselves. And I wanted to summarize all of this into a definition of what the perception of failure should be and how I perceive failure. And that is that failure is not the end of the journey. Instead, it is a new beginning that one can take advantage of to better oneself and achieve greater heights in their journey. And therefore, I wanted to thank you all for tuning into this video. If you enjoyed it and found it beneficial, please consider liking and subscribing to this channel. And please comment in the comment section down below your experience with failure and the perception that you have that allowed you to move forward and past those failures. Because we're all approaching life differently, and we've all experienced different things. And I'd like to understand from you all what different approaches there are that we can all benefit from in our journeys to success. And I'd like to thank you all again for tuning in. This is AJTS signing out. Peace.